What's going on? My name is Tyson McGuffin. Welcome to the McGuffin Show. We're on episode 36. I can't believe we're on episode 36 here, okay? Cannot believe it at all. Want to give a big shout out to all the fans, all the supporters out there, all my subscribers on my YouTube channel. Pretty cool. We're almost up to 11,000.
Heck yeah.
Tell everybody, best YouTube channel in the game. We all know this. I want to also give a big shout out to our title sponsor, Beamer Therapy. Make sure to go over to my website, click on the sponsor tab, and check out Beamer today. If you want to live until you're about 120, get your ass on a Beamer.
It's a Beamer guarantee.
Okay,
right?
It's a Beamer guarantee, baby.
Long, happy life.
Great for sleep, great for mental clarity, great for recovery, pushes out inflammation. I've been using Beamer for about 4 years now, and I'm a true believer. K-Mac, you know, even though he's got a bad shoulder, he has not quite jumped on the Beamer, but maybe I should give him one.
Well, you have about, what, 5 of these
I got like 3
now.
or 4 here, I know, right? I don't need them all.
Share the love.
Banks is on one, Mac's on one, Tucker's on one.
Let's get the whole family set up.
Dog, baby.
Get them young. Get them young. Extend that life out. I love it.
But appreciate everybody there at Beamer Therapy. They've been great to me, and it's been a great partnership. Things we're going to be talking about today is St. George. I know it's a little late. I've just been grinding the last 2 weeks, but we're going to catch up on St. George. Debuted my Skechers shoes, Asian Pickleball Open, US Open, new gear, got some new lifestyle gear, APP Camden, and then some boiler room stuff. Yeah, just got back, was on the road for 2 weeks, played St. George, and then was the host of the Asian Open. It was so hot in Phuket. It was beautiful, but it was brutally hot. But yeah, been home for a couple days. Wasn't supposed to come home, but thought I would surprise the family and surprise my wife. So yeah, it's been nice being home for a couple days. Got some EM sculpt in.
Got to put that time in. Happy wife, happy life,
it's necessary.
Yep.
If we're locked in and dialed, not too much can go wrong.
It is funny though,
you know?
like it's, you know, when family life is good, how much that permeates into like every other aspect of life, right? If that's good, like everything else just goes smoother.
No,
it's just
business, competition.
Work it from the inside out, you know?
It's very true. So yeah, been home for a couple days. Got a little session in with K-Mac this morning. Got this guy playing singles. You know, come on.
You know, I came out of my couple month singles retirement there.
Yeah.
It was dicey early.
It was dicey early, but he definitely caught fire. Found the forehand.
Oh, yeah.
Started dipping that backhand cross.
Pushed you a little bit. You know, somebody's got to try to get you ready for the
Something
US
that we
Open.
both noticed is that the Franklin ball enhances our weaker side.
Yep.
The Franklin ball enhances my backhand.
Sure,
It definitely enhances his backhand.
Yeah, you can come up with more. And then just like we talked about, I mean, especially myself, you know, I don't have the lateral movement you do. I'm not as good a shape. So keeping the points shorter but not playing wild is kind of a fine line to balance. So I think that latest thing with singles is like looking to hit your spot but move forward right away.
Sure.
And even if you lose the point, you cut down angles, you shrink the size of the court for your opponents. So when I was able to do that was the best way to make you feel a little bit of pressure, you know, as it got going a little bit.
Little story I'm going to tell is I was playing J-Dub in Las Vegas last year. It was like the year-end championships, and I was getting my ass kicked for a game and a half, and this guy was playing out of his freaking head, and Kai was in the stands, and I was driving thirds. I was not coming in, and I was trying to pass him just by, you know, driving and watching, and that is not going to make him feel pressure. So took a little time out, spoke to this man in front of me here, and he had mentioned that maybe I should follow my drive up and get in his vision a little bit. And for all you singles junkies out there, something I did was I started driving and closing in. J-Dub started making unforced errors with his volleys, and then he started floating volleys. I was able to come in and crash. So yeah, there is plenty of benefit behind. If you're not able to drive and pass at the baseline, look to maybe take a little off on your drive, be explosive out of your first step, get your weight going forward, crash in transition, get in their vision. And anyhow, I ended up winning game 2, won game 3. Come on.
Boom.
Got the job done. But it was all due to plan B with just taking a little off on the drive, being a bit more selective with my placement, and then just crashing like a madman and getting J-Dub or getting your opponents looking at things they don't have control of.
Well, that's what I think a lot of people don't really realize with singles. And maybe if the skill level is quite lopsided, there doesn't need to be a lot of strategy there, right? Bang your serve, pass them on the first ball. But as you play against the top 10 people where the levels are a lot closer, there's a lot of strategy. There's a lot of strategy within it, So it's not just drive or drop, but within the drive, you can drive and crash. You can drive to this location. You can drive and stay back. So there's a lot of different ways to tweak the game when you get into the highest levels. I think as it's showcased more, I think people will start to appreciate that a little bit more.
Yeah. How do you disrupt the volleyer?
Right.
And it's easy to be a good guesser. It's tougher to be a good guesser when they're crashing. You know what I mean? It's true. You get looking at your opponent as they come in and crash. Same thing, in dubs. Like you leave a short return, they bang their third and they come in and they're coming in and like you hear them coming in. Right. There's a lot of times where they're just missing that fourth because of some added activity in front of them. Yeah,
I mean, when you feel that presence, it changes your shot, right? The standard shot that you want to go for, you feel that in. Sometimes you want to block it. Sometimes you want to angle it off, and it's tough to do that in a split second.
No, it is. It is. And as we see at the pro level, I mean, there's so much benefit behind driving and crashing and getting in. And there's been teams this year that have beat Jay and I, like a top 5 team at the highest level just by being willing to, crash off of that drive and get in our vision and force us to either pop a volley up or dump a volley.
And I would say, if you think about even your year with Riley, when you guys had losses that weren't to like the top 2-3 teams,
it some of that
like
stuff.
There was a certain or a decent percentage of that being played because I mean, you guys didn't give away much when you got to the kitchen line, right? Yeah. So just hitting a drop, getting there, it's like, well, good luck, hitting 20 more quality shots to win the point. Something to be said for drive early, crash early against those grinding teams that are so elite at the kitchen line. You almost have to get a certain number of points in a cheaper way. It's tough to win every point in that grinding manner.
Take a look at mixed players that do it well. Rye does it well.
Yep.
I do it well. Ben does it well.
Yep.
Matt Wright, usually creates most of his offense from the kitchen line.
Yep.
If you guys are not driving and crashing or not looking to capitalize off your drive, you are doing something wrong.
Right. Yeah. And just even from a coaching standpoint, I would say, just leading discussions at camps, I would say the drive is probably one of the most still misunderstood shots of like how to use it. It might look exactly the same, but depending on your court positioning, depending on your opponents, maybe the drive is used completely as like just a way to get an easier drop. Maybe it's a way to shorten the point. So there's a lot of different ways to use that shot that I think people are still kind of getting educated about.
Yeah. It's a very good tip there. You can use the drive for various things. You can use it to make your fifth easier by dumping a fifth, drive your third, drop your fifth. You can use it with the driving crash. Or flat out, if you serve aggressive enough and your opponents are unwinding, you can just drive to the open court.
Little doubles winner. They don't happen often.
They
feel great.
And that's something I've been trying to implement more in mixed. I feel like there's a good portion of my offense is from the baseline. And so, if I see my opponents unwinding means stacking. I will purposely serve out wide, try to pull them out wide, and then maybe either, drive middle, as they're crossing, or drive to the open court.
Yeah. No, makes sense. And I'm changing a little bit on this, but traditionally people that like are asking about serves and they're like, oh, how many different serves do you need? And they love variety. They've got the cutter, they've got this, that. And traditionally, I've never loved variety just because a big, aggressive, deep serve normally gets the job done. But there's something to be said to add the short angle serve in. True. Something I could definitely add into my game for mix, like you're talking about when the team, when they have to cover that diagonal running path to make that a little further over. Right. Definitely a great shot in your arsenal for mix, that little short angle serve.
Yeah. I like the idea too of, and I heard this from BJ, but driving late in games, if it's 7-all, 8-all, 9-all, everybody's a little tight.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with using the drive in middle, dink in middle, but making them fight over that stuff, making them, talk on middle balls and fight on middle balls.
Yeah, little aggression goes a long way.
It does. Okay, St. George was a little sick on that Sunday, did not play singles. Played pretty well on Thursday, though. I can't remember who I played early, but played Hayden, who's only getting better, by the way.
He's a talented
He
young
is.
man.
He totally is. cute kid, and for a kid that has not gone through puberty yet, he's got a lot of swag, if you know what I mean.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But
he's somebody to
very
watch out for.
very confident. And I think any athlete out there, especially if you're a kid, if you have some swag, if you have some added confidence, this stuff goes a long ways.
You need a certain amount of it.
Totally,
you need a certain amount of it.
And being young and him playing older guys and playing men, if you don't believe it, or if you don't build yourself up a little bit, it's true. It's tough to see it. Or it's tough to have some belief.
I think we all
little swag goes a long ways.
Want that like perfectly humble person, but the reality is most high-end athletes, maybe they hide it a little, but you have to have a lot of self-belief.
You got to build yourself up.
And usually that comes out with a little bit of arrogance. Or
Delusion.
The vibe you give off. Like we talked about. You need to have 10% delusion.
You do. Anyhow, Hayden does a very good job of that. And he's, I don't think he has a tennis background. And technically very sound, gets good spin. He's got the two-hander. He can drive the forehand. He's got a big serve as well. So
he's got a very lively arm.
He does. He's got a noodle arm.
And he's, small in stature, but he maximizes his power there.
He does. And I would say his biggest attribute is probably his hands. Anyhow, so played Hayden, and then played Frank. Played pretty well against Frank.
How was the scoreline with Hayden? Was it pretty competitive?
It was tight game one. Yeah, it was like 8-all game one.
Okay.
But
you kind of separated a little bit at that point.
I was gonna make sure that he was not gonna take a game off.
Traditionally,
you know
like the next gen, maybe not next gen, but the under 18 guys haven't quite. I don't know if you've had a lot of those losses.
Yeah, I think Hayden may have a little too much respect for me to actually believe.
Fair enough. Yeah. And those big moments.
No, it's tough.
Right?
I mean, if I was that age, it's tough to get over the hump and to really see that you can beat the top dogs, under pressure.
I think I overheard a conversation. I think you played in, maybe it was Vegas. I could be getting it wrong, but he was saying he just watched you play somebody it was somewhat tight, and then he just beat that person or played them tight, so he was about to play you, and he's like, hey, this is going to be close. And he
I think it was Austin.
I think you mopped the floor with him then.
Yeah.
And you were like, there's levels to this game. Just that veteran savvy, like, yeah, you'll get there one day, but you're not fully there yet, at least.
H-Dog, what's up, man? Shout out to H-Dog. But yeah, I played H-Dog. Talk about the same draws. I mean, honestly, I've had the same draw in singles the last three tournaments in a row. So
Frank.
Comes to show that with APP and PPA and the tours being a little diluted and not everybody's playing the same tournaments, it's similar draws. It's true. And honestly, like the APP's singles lineup right now is probably more competitive than PPA.
Deeper. It's deeper. I think they pay a little better. I could be wrong, but I think they pay a little better for singles.
Kenny's a fan of singles.
He likes the singles. I'm right there with him.
To pay his boys.
I'm right there with him. Singles is very entertaining to me. I know that it's more maybe seen as a niche thing right now, but we both expect that with the growth of the sport, singles showcases such a high level of athleticism.
Yeah, for sure.
It seems like it has a place.
Take a look at other racket sports that have made it on TV and that have really taken off. It's that physicality of two guys or two gals beating themselves up on a singles court, So I would assume.
I think the knock on it is people don't like the short points, but even though it doesn't play to my game, you go the Franklin Ball, the U.S. Open we're about to go to. I mean, there's going to be longer points. It's really going to showcase the warrior spirit and the grind, which should be very entertaining.
Right, and I think too, with just a better athlete being developed in the next 5 or 10 years, it's going to. Singles in the next 5 or 10 years is going to be just a touch different.
I agree 100%.
Be a bit more creative. Points are going to be a little longer.
Yeah, as guys are world class in their fitness, they don't have to bail out, right? They can get back to neutral and not go for the pass and kind of balance that a little bit more.
Yeah, make the points a bit more entertaining.
Right.
And then played Frank in the semis. Played pretty well. Cool. And then, did not play on Sunday. Played mixed with Lolo, my girl Lolo. Lolo's playing well. Lolo and I ended up beating Nunnery and Kovalova in 3, and then got beat up by Johns and Waters. Dropped down. Played Jansen and Johns, who I've played, I can't tell you how many freaking times this year.
Meeting the same teams, yeah.
And then we ended up playing Jay and Jesse, and we should have won that bronze medal match. We're at 10-all game 1. I have a high ball, and I like go at Jessie. She somehow flings it out of her armpit, slob over my head for a winner.
No.
Yeah, totally.
The slob
10, 10, 10, 2. We lose that point, side out, lose 10-12, win game 2, and then get rolled in game 3.
It's actually a pretty fun matchup to watch. I feel like you guys are pretty even.
Yeah.
You know, Jessie and Jay have a lot of chemistry in mix. They've been pretty consistent, but I feel like you and Lauren are building on that.
We are
every time you play.
Yeah, we are. Lolo does a lot of things well. Yeah, she serves aggressively. I mean, we kind of have the same mindset from the baseline. Serve aggressively, drive the third. She likes to swing in transition.
Yep.
She's dinking better on the right, as we've talked about. You know, when she gets pulled out wide, and
she's adding that cut.
She's adding that
if she
slice.
needs to get back to neutral.
If she has time and it's in front of her, she can roll it, and like she rolls it hard. And
she has one of the most bitey
for sure
forehand rolls. Yeah,
and her roll dink is pretty similar to her roll speed up middle, or you know, she can go line with it too. Counters well, fights well, gamer at heart.
I feel like not just grinding or staying in that pattern, but the ability to add just a little more pace, a little more roll allows you to get involved.
It does,
too,
for
right?
sure. It does.
You can get in their sights. You can kind of leave line at times.
Exactly. I know they're not going to burn me line.
Dare them to go there, get in their vision. So a good tip at home is sometimes it's not just being consistent in that cross court pattern, but adding just a little heavier ball, a little more weight of shot allows your partner to help you, even if it's just like a bluff, right? Even if they're just dancing around as a bluff.
Yeah, very true. Heard it from the man. Heard it from the man. By the way, if you guys want to get K-Mac, get over to my website, TysonMcGuffin.com. Check out one of the camps he's doing. K-Mac, when's your next camp that you are leading? I know you're going to be assisting me in NC.
I believe it's Hoover.
Hoover.
7th.
Hoover. Come on, who doesn't want to go to Hoover, Alabama?
Come on over to Hoover. And I've been there a couple of times.
You have.
There's a great group
There's
there.
a lot of K-Mac love in Hoover.
Yeah,
there is.
Love the area.
Yeah.
Been there a couple of times, and they're growing, getting organized.
Is that indoors at that little hub?
That is. It's a big sports complex.
The only setback.
That is. It's gym floor.
Gym floor, rat ball.
Yeah, for sure. But for teaching purposes.
No. It's great. It's great.
It's almost
great.
no issue, right? I mean,
of course.
If it's a tournament, it changes the element quite a bit. But for instruction, I don't really think the courts matter that
Controlled
much.
atmosphere, no
not
conditions.
Deal with any weather, any wind, which we've had some dicey spots with that lately.
Is there a wind policy?
Is there a wind policy?
So you took fourth with Lolo. And she just signed with a new company called Hecate. It's functional mushrooms. It comes in powder you can put in your coffee. Comes in tablet forms that you can take. Anyhow,
so I have no idea. Like, what is that supposed to do? Is it more recovery?
Mental clarity, gives you more energy. The coffee in the morning gives you a little boost. Helps out with helps with your sleep, inflammation, lactic acid. Similar to Beamer, similar to compression boots, things like that. Just added recovery. So, I said, I'm trying to live till I'm about 120. But the story is that in St. George, they actually showed up during practice. Sent their content team from Vancouver, BC. I was playing with Frank that day, and we all know how Frank likes a lot of room around the court, right?
How he performs. Right? He's got to run.
Of course. Anyhow, so there was like a photographer there, there's a videographer there, and they're on court, taking photos and taking B-roll and stuff like that. Anyhow, Frank basically told them, he's like, I need some room to run. He's like, can you give me some space? But it was kind of funny because the photographer, there was plenty of room off the baseline and the fence, but the photographer was on the fence, and Frank basically told him to if he could move over.
No, it's funny. And Frank, I don't know if Frank will be watching this, but he's one of my favorite people.
Oh, love, baby.
In pickleball, but
Frank's my guy.
I have seen some tendencies, or I don't know if he's could be a little OCD at times, just hearing him communicate.
Yeah, right.
But that's why he's so good, right? Attention to detail, perfectionist.
Exactly.
Knows what he does well, knows what he needs. But at times he some of those OCD qualities can come out a little bit.
K-Mac and I were talking this morning too. Talk about a guy who literally puts himself in odd positions in singles and will somehow climb out of it with a ball in the stretch, or you know what I mean. But guy is pure effort. and works his ass off.
Well, yeah,
so
we were talking
gotta
about
give the guy credit. Got to respect that,
you've got
baby.
a certain amount of points that you play that way.
Yeah, of course. But he lives and dies that way.
But imagine, getting all your points through just effort
and
highlight
scrappiness.
reel,
Yeah, right.
just, squeezing
How can you not
the
be a
court
fan?
down.
No.
Yeah, if you like singles at all, you're going to be a huge fan of Frank.
No,
you have to be.
Of course, man. And how old is Frank these days? Is he 35?
I don't know if he's quite that old, but he's between probably 32 and
like
35.
your age.
He could be. So I'm
How old are
36. I'm 36.
God, he's getting up there, man. 36? I mean,
the grays are coming.
Oh, yeah, right. Keep that hat on.
Keep the hat on. Just permanent hat from now on. I would guess 33, 34.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but somewhere in that range.
But yeah,
I think
tough
he's just a touch,
not to respect that, man. Yeah, and Frank's my guy. Probably 90% of the time when I show up to tournaments, I usually get some sessions in with Frank.
True warriors.
Yeah, true warriors. All right, I'm gonna show you guys. I did a little hiking at Zion. I mean, come on,
gorgeous.
Doesn't get better than that. But ended up getting in like a day early. Took a little trip up there. It was about an hour from St. George. Didn't do any major hiking. Did not do Landings Peak, which is like the most extreme hike that they got. Ended up just like kind of taking my car through Zion and cruised around. And
did you just fly solo?
Solo, yep.
Okay, nice.
Solo mission. But it was gorgeous, man. Like the layers and layers of mountains and the red rock scenery. Yeah, doesn't get better than that. But yeah, there's a spa up there. There's a brewery, bunch of good food, people all over. Then the place was packed. So I would definitely go back, and definitely a place that I would take the fam back to as well.
Sure. Definitely its own type of beauty, but definitely beautiful. I've always been partial to the red rock and kind of exploring through
It's
there.
pretty, yeah. I was telling my videographer here that my wife and I were saying if we didn't live in Coeur d'Alene, it would either be Bend or maybe St. George.
Yeah.
And talk about areas that are blowing up, Boise, Bend, Oregon, Coeur d'Alene, Salt Lake, St. George. Beautiful country, that's for sure. Okay, so debuted my shoes. They're in St. George. Actually got them at the hotel like 2 days before. Practiced with them once, and I kid you not, they look sexy.
Looking
they
flashy.
feel great on those legs. Come on now, I'm just kidding. No, I was a little iffy at first. We had probably gone through 3 or 4 models, and we were really trying to build up the outsole, add some more support in the heel and the toe, and they turned out great. They're super light, comfortable. They have the Goodyear outsole. And the cool thing too is that Skechers kind of let me run with the design, not only with my clothing, but with the shoe. So I kind of took the design of like the Asics Resolution Gel. Kind of has that harder mesh. As you can see, it has that harder mesh going around. It's got the toe guard, the heel guard. And like the idea of the splash looking outsole, kind of like that camo looking outsole that ties into the whole shoe. But have those guys in pink, lime green, and white, and then also have them in black, white, and gold.
Which is your favorite design? Do you have a favorite?
Championship Sunday. If I'm gonna win, I'm gonna wear my goldies.
I was gonna say. I mean, I like this is probably my second and a close second.
Yeah, you like the golds?
I like the black and gold.
Yeah.
I just think it looks classy.
You have to be pretty bold to wear those. You do.
Sure.
You do.
I like the 90s
Even
retro,
though K-Mac is wearing a pink hat.
Retro. Every now and then gotta mix it up.
But yeah, there's been so much buzz about the shoes, so it's been cool. Appreciate all the supporters out there, and there's been lots of comments on IG and YouTube and Facebook and all that. So, and for everybody that wants a pair, Skechers has an entry-level model, which is about $60. I helped design that shoe as well, and then the elite level. The Elite's like 120. These guys are not out yet. I'm not too sure when they're going to be pushed out, but I would assume in the next year or so. And we're not quite finalized with the shoes yet. We're probably going to add a few more features, but pretty cool. Catherine and I are actually, we both signed together, and Skechers is making that announcement today. So
Heck yeah, man.
Sketchies for life.
That's a big deal just for pickleball in general. Like to get some bigger established names that are jumping all in and investing in some athletes. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's
pretty
awesome.
Cool. So super happy. It's one of my probably higher level partnerships, and yeah, happy to be on the team. And I think we're going to do some cool things together and really like grow the brand worldwide. And maybe do some like instructional series for all the ambassadors worldwide. But I'm going to try to really utilize that sponsor. Okay. Asian Pickleball Open. It was a pain getting over there. It was a pain coming back. But I'll tell you what, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of passion for pickleball over there. And Indians love Selkirk, and they love their Invicta. And I got a lot of love. I'll tell you what.
You got a little Michael Jordan treatment.
I did. I totally did. But Global Pickleball, Jan Poppy did a great job. The venue was covered, so even though it was blistering hot, so humid, snakes everywhere, bugs. I mean, oh my gosh. There was a snake that was like trying to get through the fence. And it's funny, like I was very scared of the snake, but the locals just come over and grab it and just throw it away.
Right. They're not fans. It's just
it's all good. It's just a normal thing.
Right.
Yeah, it was a fun tournament. Ended up playing with Dan Moore. Dan and I ended up winning the men's doubles. The team that we played in the finals were probably like 4-5s.
Yeah.
I
think I watched a little bit of that, and both of them looked solid.
A lot of banging.
Both of them looked solid, but you said one of the guys was a pretty high level
top 200
player.
ITF. Yeah, very good. He's only been playing for like 8 months.
He looked pretty fundamentally sound. Had fast hands.
Yeah, next year when I go back, I would assume he's going to be a stud for sure. Stayed on Nayang Beach. I was so good. Food was good. Locals were very appreciative. Definitely different culture over there. Different perspective, but came home energized and fun trip. My first time going over there.
Well, and tell us a little bit about the environment, because like me, not the warrior you are, I would have felt like I was in a pressure cooker the whole time.
Of course,
you're like every point that you guys lost, right? Crowd would go wild.
Well, yeah, I mean,
understandably
for everybody flying in, I mean, this is like the biggest tournament they've ever been to, right? And then on top of that, I was very accessible. So yeah, anytime Dan and I were playing, like if anybody scored a point off of Dan and I, like the crowd was just going wild. And it was kind of funny too, because I may have built Dan up a little bit and like gave him some added pressure, but I just told Dan, I'm like, yeah, man, like you're always automatic. Like even though you don't play all that much, like you always bring it.
It's always going to be there.
It's always going to be there.
You don't miss
things. Yeah. And so I think just the mixture of maybe me building him up, him not playing at all. I mean, he lives in Asia, and then the crowd kind of, building this whole thing up. He was a little tight early on.
Right.
But once he got dialed, Danny's a stud, man. Does a lot of things well. But we put Dan on the right, Dan's got clubby hands. Sure. He can drive the forehand, leans in well, takes a lot of dinks out of the air. And he can fight like there's no tomorrow. I mean, he's got that more spirit,
Heck yeah. You said they were given, when they went a point,
they were,
puffing the chest out a little,
sure.
sending a message. I love that.
So there was like 350 players from all over. And the Indians were just, they were just a little aggressive with their line calls, and very aggressive just with their antics on court. Right. Saying "come on" right at you. We had a not a tight match in the quarters, but it was probably one of our tighter. It was a gain of 15 too, so kind of dicey.
Yeah,
and it was like 6-3. It was kind of stuck at 6-3 for a little bit, and they were fist pumping at Dan, and finally Dan hit like a backhand volley winner and gave him a little fist pump right at him.
And I'm just like that too. It seems like you're kind of a cool cat.
No. I'm not gonna stoop to that silliness.
Right. No, I'm definitely like, I'm normally pretty even keel, but when somebody's giving it to me,
for sure,
it's hard to resist not wanting to give it back to him. So I probably would have done exactly what Dan did.
I just told Dan, I'm like, hey, let's just focus on ourselves.
Right.
No, Dan's such a good guy. And talk about a guy who's just a true ambassador. I mean, he's helping grow pickleball in Asia and gives back and volunteers his time. And him and his dad do a great job with Pickleball Trips.
Yeah.
It's a bit more activity driven, but they do trips where they go to Thailand, they go to Singapore, they'll go to Brazil, but it's probably like 80% activity to 20% pickleball. But they've kind of built that business up for the last 5 years.
They've been doing that a while.
Do a very good job. Yeah,
very successful.
A lot of good reviews, a lot of good feedback. Anytime I bring up Dan's name to anybody in the States, like they always have good things to say about him. So
for sure.
Dan's about as good as they come.
Did you just play doubles?
Just played dubs.
Okay,
Yep.
nice.
Yep. Just played dubs. So definitely want to go back. So my next trip is going to be Spain Open. That's going to be in July, and then going to Bali in October. So Meg's very excited. So Meg's going to come to Spain with me.
Oh, nice.
She's going to come to Bali with me.
Oh, sweet. She'll come on the next 2.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And we may actually try to like extend our trip there in Bali.
If you
and
can,
maybe,
you might as
maybe
well,
do like
right?
a honeymoon. I mean, some of those photos of like the bungalows on the water, I mean, it just looks
like paradise,
ridiculous.
Right? If you can squeeze in a few more days,
Silly.
you definitely should if you're going to go that far.
Yeah, so I think we're going to try to play the tournament and then stay for like a week later. We've never had our honeymoon, and she always wanted to go to Bali. So we're like, God, kill 2 birds with 1 stone here.
You gotta pay up on a honeymoon.
Right. So take care of the honey.
Heck yeah.
Back to taking care of the honey. Okay, U.S. Open about to take off today. I own Naples. I'm gonna win singles. I'm gonna win doubles and mixed.
Boom.
Gonna get her done. But always love going to the U.S. Open. Chris and Terry that run the event do a great job. Place is rocking and rolling. I think there's like 2,500 players this year. So. I mean, some of the PPA events there's anywhere from like 750 to 1,500. So this is a mondo,
an upper echelon.
Yeah.
From
how many
standard,
freaking courts are there?
I think they had 60 last year, and I think maybe I've heard they've expanded again. So maybe 70-ish, somewhere in that range.
It's definitely not Indian Wells Tennis Garden, but Championship Court is rocking. But it's true. Once you leave Championship Court, it's just a park. It's very true. It is. It's very true. Right. Not much shade. It's hotter than hell. If you can win in Naples in April at the U.S. Open, you are one tough son of a gun.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So I've only played it once, and I played it last year.
Please tell us your shirt story.
You'd always talk about how many
amateur.
You'd always talk about how many shirts you'd bring, and you sweat a lot, right? Like you're taking supplements, that stuff's just pouring out of you. And I thought I would come in prepared. I think I brought 4 shirts, and I squeaked out my first 2 rounds that I won, and just show up to play Jay in the 3rd round, and I had no dry shirts left, so I had to use the free U.S. Open shirt for that one, and just stay in it the rest of the tournament. But no, I mean, you were just dripping in warm-ups, right? I mean, it's amazing how humid it is, and fun tournament. But definitely, if you're a West Coast person, you've never played East Coast, the humidity changes a lot of factors for sure.
Survival of the fittest for sure. It's more managing the suffering. Managing the suffering. I feel like it's a little less competition and more so just like internal and trying to like focus on like fighting yourself and fighting your gas tank and just using timeouts at the right time. I mean, this is a bit more singles driven, right? But if you can manage singles and win at the U.S. Open and play all day and play in play at your highest level in that gold medal match, tough thing to do because it's hot, it's humid, it's windy, a lot of conditions, and not only the weather is tough, but championship court. The court, it's not slow or fast. It's probably medium, but there's other courts that play different. Like the courts that are right by championship court play fast, like they haven't been resurfaced in I don't know how long. And then there's brand new courts in the back that are very gritty. So you kind of get this mixture of like the conditions are tough and the courts all play just a touch different.
Changes matchups, right?
It does.
I mean, fast court versus a gritty court could definitely favor one player or the other, even within those conditions.
And then you're using that marshmallow of a Franklin ball, and it's humid, and the ball is moving like slow, and moves very slow in the air, and defense is enhanced, and even though it does help my backhand.
I mean, it shows kind of the variety that you have, because I'd put you in the category of obviously you're an elite ball striker, but you're an elite mover as well. And I think this doesn't really favor the ball strikers in the same way as a West Coast tournament. But like you said, it can hide some weaknesses. Definitely extend out the points. Where I think if you go on court feeling like you're the fitter athlete, it's a big confidence booster to have in the back of your mind, regardless of the score.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I remember doubles last year playing in the semis, playing Declan, Adam, and just how long the points were. And I mean, like seeing Adam in transition, swinging and turning his swing into a block that lands in the kitchen comes to show the ball is so stupidly soft. If you're swinging and it turns into a drop, you know what I mean?
Just decelerate.
Drop. And like the transition from defense to offense can take place, I mean, so often throughout the point, it can kind of bounce back and forth. Defense is enhanced. It's super physical. It's tough to get a gain with your dink in. It's really tough to dink aggressively just because the ball doesn't go anywhere off the off the court. The ball really doesn't come up either. So in singles, like on the return as you're driving, you got to sit your ass down.
For sure.
Survival of the fittest, baby. It's true.
Like you said, like with swinging, I mean, you can kind of swing as a defense a little bit more, right? Because it's so hard to put the ball away. You don't really have to block in transition at times if you don't want to. You can kind of swing and take a step back, and the ball will still be in front of you. So definitely entertaining to watch.
It is.
For me and just my style, it's frustrating to play, right? Because it's always frustrating a little bit, at least for me.
Viewing purposes,
like it's complicated to put the ball away.
It's true.
But for viewing, it creates excitement. It creates highlight reel
TV
points.
exposure looks good. Yeah, you get these like unrealistic looking points.
Right. Point just keeps going on and on.
But yeah, so playing with Parento should be fun.
Nice. Yeah, you guys haven't played together in a while.
Mixed is kind of a toss-up. I'm playing with Parento, Rye's back playing with Linz.
Okay.
Matt and Luce, and then Ben and Simone. So
anybody's game.
Anybody's game. Waters are not playing. Waters are bowing out. Don't know the exact reason, but yeah.
That does open up the draw a little bit.
It definitely does.
She's been lights out. Anna Lee and Lee. I mean,
Lee's playing great.
Lee's playing great. Like I think
both are playing great.
I can't remember. It's 3 or 4 tournaments ago.
They've won the last 2.
You know, they lost earlier. They lost in the final, and people are like, well, you know, is it time for Anna Lee and Lee to not partner together?
Lee's not going anywhere.
Lee's a gamer though. I mean, I don't know her well, but you can tell she's a gamer. She's a competitor.
Yeah.
She's very smart. She understands the game really well, and they've really figured it out the last few tournaments. And tough to beat.
And it's a little chaotic too. You know, like the Anna Lee runs around. I mean, it's kind of like Rye and Lindsay to a certain degree. Like Rye runs around all over. Yep. Lee kind of fills in the spots. Even though, you know, Lee primarily plays on the left, like at the baseline, it's just kind of wild. Like they'll drive, throw in a lob, come in, crash, but yeah, it's once they get to the kitchen line, it's push stinks until they can get a ball to work with, speed up, clubby hands.
They'll sag off the line, give themselves time. But you're right, that it's actually an analogy I never thought of, comparing Riley and Anna Lee, right? Because each of them, maybe their stronger side in certain instances is the backhand.
Right.
So they can play either side and cover 70%, whether the right or the left. So it provides a lot of formation possibilities.
Anna Lee plugs the middle well with her two-hander.
Yep. So you can mix up the tactics a little bit more than most teams can.
Very true. So excited to head out there. I'm flying out today. Going to get some practice in with Share Bear tomorrow morning. Frank after. Get 4 hours of some grinding in, and then go get an IV. Get a massage, wake up Saturday, play some with Scarpa, do it all over again, IV, probably some cryotherapy, and then kick some ass on Sunday.
Starting Sunday, all right. Yeah. Best of luck, man.
Get some body, get the body tuned. Okay, I'm going to show you guys the new gear that we got printed. I've been telling K-Mac about this gear for I don't know how long. It took forever to get it printed, but hats are coming. Don't have any photos of the hats yet. This is the sweater. Sweater's comfy. K-Mac, how does it feel, by the way?
It's comfy, man. I just put it on. I'm about ready to fall asleep. I'm trying to stay alert here.
Yeah, right. Please,
I'm trying to stay alert here
so
I don't sack out during the podcast.
Don't have a price yet on them, but yeah, just got it printed. Super nice. Got the TM logo in white and black. Got some shirts as well. We have unisex shirts. We have women's cutoffs. Hats are coming. I'm going to show you a photo.
I like it.
So I have this same design in white as well. Actually, Gucci, we stole this design from Gucci. Gucci kind of has the same look where it's a Gucci print where the TM is, and it says Gucci all the way around. And this was my wife's idea, but it came out great.
A little bit.
Box it up a little bit.
Keeps it symmetrical.
Yeah, just do some different designs with that TM look. So, we have, for the hats that are coming out, we'll have podcast hats or podcast logo hats. We'll have the McGuffin Pickleball Club YouTube logo hats, camp hats, and then just general lifestyle TM hats. So we'll be selling this stuff at PPA events. We'll be selling it at camps. It'll be on my website. And then next year, once we get slamming with festivals and some certification stuff, which I'll talk about later, this will all be at those events as well. You can buy them at festivals, you can buy them at camps, you can buy them during the certification workshops, or you can go to the PPA tent and buy the gear as well. So it's going to be all over. By the way, something we're going to be doing next year is we're going to be running some festivals, probably like 2 or 3, just kind of get started with. And then little did you know, I'm coming out with the certification. Why the heck not? I think I have enough content on YouTube that people stealing anyhow. So time to capitalize and do it a little different. And so yeah, I mean, even though there is a PPR and an IPTPA, and a PCI, now there's going to be a TMC, if you know what I mean. But yeah,
I think it just makes sense. I mean, how often do we, when we go to these camps, meet people that are getting into teaching, and they're using a lot of the videos and a lot of the drills that we're doing, showing them in their own teaching. And I've said this, and I don't think, as the curriculum was created, we were coming up with it, at least it wasn't my intent to kind of make it flow so well, but I think it really does. I mean, when you think about just starting with like differentiating, push dink, lift dink, kind of going from there, all the stuff kind of builds upon itself. So I think it's just a natural step for it to be a curriculum. I think it would be a great program for somebody to tap into and be able to know how to cater that to lower levels, mid-levels, higher levels, with really using that same language as how to look at the game. So I think it's a natural step, and I'm excited.
Yeah, no, for sure. So we'll have kind of 3 tiers, like a tier 1, a tier 2, a tier 3. Have all the curriculum, have the lesson plans, have the video library, and we're going to build a very user-friendly website that's up to date, that looks super nice. I'm going to add some of the social media marketing insight into it as well. And yeah, definitely going to make mine, or just pump mine up, add some different features, add some more resources. And yeah, so we'll kind of be piggybacking camps with workshops next year. So let's say if we have a 2-day camp, the next 2 days after the camp, we'll have a certification workshop. Tier 2 and tier 3 can be taken online. Tier 1, if you want it, got to get your ass to the certification workshop. So super excited about that. I'm going to be cranking out with that, kind of starting now. I have a few people working on the project, and I'm editing videos as we speak. But yeah, super exciting.
No, it's exciting. And I think, we've talked about this, and, others have, is, pickleball's changed so much in the way it's played at the higher levels over the last few years. Right. And, with some of these certifications that have been around for a really long time, it's just going to be nice to have something that really is made in modern times that can give that modern perspective on things, which I think what people need more than anything. So. Right.
And be sure to stay up to date with, lessons and drills and games and all that fun stuff. Yeah, super exciting. But be looking for that stuff towards the end of the year. We'll try to do 3 festivals next year, probably 1 West Coast, 1 in Phoenix, and then 1 East Coast.
Well, Tyson, when you say festival, you want to tell people a little bit about
what that and I'm just taking this idea from anybody else that's done it, honestly. It'd be morning workshops where, let's say, K-Max on 4 courts, K-Max teaching push dinks, I'm on 4 courts and I'm teaching lift dinks. Kyle Yates is on 4 courts, he's teaching the punch volley. Leia's on 4 courts, she's teaching the drop. Anyhow, festival goers can walk around. Let's say there's going to be anywhere from like 100 to 200 people. So festival goers in the mornings, well, it's kind of like clinic-based to a certain degree. We'll kind of walk around to various pros courts, check out their stuff. They can jump in, they can listen. Over lunch will be provided. We'll have food trucks, beer gardens, all that stuff. But during lunch, we'll have pro exhibitions. I'll probably have anywhere from like 10 to 15 headliner pros there. After lunch, we'll do like an hour pro-am where pros playing with the festival people. And then the last 3 hours, coaches will roam, and there's level-specific rec play with like 150 people. Yeah. And then at night, taking our shirt off, DJs going, dancing, having to go, oh yeah, come on. Getting a solid 8 hours of sleep and showing up the next day. But yeah, it'd be a 3-day event. Workshops in the morning, pro-am, lunch, exhibitions, rec play in the afternoon, and then having some nightly fun.
I just think having that open structure
is fun.
It's so
half
nice.
The price,
so
too.
Nice for people, because people know kind of generally where they're solid, and they know where they struggle. So if they hear us talking about dinking, they're like, hey, I've got that. I know the dinking, I know my dinking game, but I really need to learn the drive, or I need to find offense here or there. So to be able to choose which one makes the most sense for you is an advantage even over a standard clinic structure, right? So that with lots of level specific play. I know when I first started playing tournaments, I thought I was going to get a ton of rec play in between tournaments. Right. I realized like all the people that have been doing it for a while, all the other pros, they wanted to go home and go to sleep. And so like I'd get my 2 matches against pros that I paid for.
Right.
But other than that, I wasn't getting that much play other than the tournament play. So this provides the ability to play against a bunch of different styles, you know, as many games as you want, as much as you want, because it's kind of an all day thing where you can kind of pick and choose what's right for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So be looking for that stuff next year. I'll probably have it posted on my website by this fall. So, okay, APP Camden, J-Dub, all he does is win, Triple Crown winner. There were some new guys that were showing some life in singles, though. Frederico, who's a complete stud, he's going to start teaching some camps for me. Nice. Argentinian, and James Ignacio. I played James at Joey's tournament. They're in St. Port Lucie. Guy's got some game, even though he never comes in on the return. I did not watch him play in Camden, so wasn't sure if he came in or not.
Yeah,
but
I
if you can,
either.
Credit to you, if you can stay back and just spank and slap, and it's a highlight reel, and you can pass off your back foot and do it all day long, kudos to you.
No, for sure.
It's a tough thing to do.
Sure. I don't know. I mean, do you think that's?
I don't know.
Do you think that's doable?
It's not scalable. No, it's
West
not.
Coast. I mean, I feel like with as grindy as Florida might be, you know, extending as many points, maybe you can return and stay back. But I feel like maybe West Coast,
that's going
to be a little tougher.
It's easier to defend to a certain degree.
I wish I would have watched the match that he beat Zane, because I'd be curious if he stayed back the whole time beating Zane. That seems very improbable to me. Maybe he did it once in a while to break the rhythm. Right. But
maybe it's not easier to defend than pass, but at least saving your gas tank, you can hang on longer, you know, and you can really hang on to your endurance if you come in versus just try to stay back the whole time and pass away.
For sure, sure. You have to be able to pass really well on both sides to think about a play like that.
Even though he is about 18, I'm sure he's got plenty in the tank. And you know, I've taught a camp in Camden, South Carolina. I don't know if KMAC's ever been there, but there is nothing going on there. Nobody could pay me. I mean, nobody could pay me to go back there, teach a camp, play a tournament. I'm not going. There's one Mexican restaurant that what's his name?
Seckle, right?
My man Seckle. It was so freaking hot. It was like, I mean, I think we were there in late May. I was teaching for Level Up. This is like back in 2016. And we had like 10 people for our first camp and 12 for our second camp. We did a 3-day camp, and it was a long 6 days. I was not happy to be there. Anyhow, we tried to play after each day. We'd play for 30 minutes, but literally it was so stupidly hot. We would just go to the Mexican restaurant and just start smashing margaritas. And that was like the only
hard days of work.
That was the only place in town. They had bomb enchiladas, and the margaritas were not too shabby.
Why mess with a good thing, right? Go to the same spot.
But anyhow, if you take a look at like the crowd or championship court, there was nobody there. I mean, there was Kathy Dimitri, and Kathy Dimitri had this little chicken thing. What is that called? Little chicken horn.
I'm not sure.
It was
I'm
just
not sure.
so incredibly loud.
She went away from her stick faces.
She did.
Right.
She's got like the chicken blowhorn.
She had to add a little more. The stick faces weren't doing it. She needed a rattle. Really get the crowd going.
But anyhow, I mean, the coverage looked great. You know, Boxcar always does a great job. And like the venue is nice. It's a public facility that looks like a private tennis facility, honestly. So just the town itself just sucks. But anyhow, championship court looked nice. J-Dub won all 3 events. Scarpa and Greg Doe took a bronze. My man Scarpa.
Yeah, Scarpa came and trained with you a couple
months
back.
Yeah, and Scarpa was a brand new man after. It's kind of funny. He came in, he really didn't have any big wins under his belt.
Right.
And not giving myself credit here, but he came for like a week, and we played, I don't know how many freaking games. So we played a shit ton of games of half court skinny and singles, and he had a tournament that weekend and ends up beating Sherry first round, beat a few other guys, and he's got some game, man. Technically it's a little unorthodox, but gets the job done, fights well, got good hands. And his buddy Greg too played the right. Scarpa plays the left. Greg's a big guy. Greg's also got some clubby hands, but they ended up beating Gridley and Stone.
Gridley and Stone, I think, was the best win that I saw, and they beat him really handily. It was really surprising. It was like 3-4, 3-3.
First round.
I think it was second or third, but you know, I'm not a little surprised that they won. Very surprised that it was the score line that it was.
Right.
And I think they got a couple of nice wins in the back draw as well to seal off the bronze. So congrats to them. It's always fun seeing new names make the podium. I mean, it's a very challenging thing to do with the kind of elite top 10 pros or so being established. Been doing it for a while, and especially doubles too, because you know, you have to, it's not just yourself, right? So you've got to find another partner that you can get that can hang with you and battle with you and stay mentally sharp all day. So congrats to them.
Okay. So, looking at the results here. So yeah, Ann played Georgia in the winner's bracket final, beat her in 3, 11-7 in the third. And then a gal named Rachel James, nice to see some new people in there. Rachel James ended up, let's see here. She ended up, she lost first round to Georgia. Crazy scoreline. Georgia won 13-11, 6-11, 11-7.
Okay, so it's tight.
But Rachel dropped down. Backdraw Slayer beat everybody in the backdraw. And then, actually beat Georgia in the bronze 5-7. Okay. And then gave Bright a good match in the final. It was 6-11, 11-4, 11-3. So
definitely a name to keep looking for. Then it's the first time I've seen the name. So
seems
it might
like
be your first tournament
for sure. And it seems like the young generation that's seeping through usually seeps through singles first. You know,
especially if you come from tennis.
Yeah,
right? There's a lot of similarities.
Right.
Movement is such an important factor. If you're in good shape, that's a big part of it.
Even though I have lost to Bright this year in mixed already.
Well, she's kind of an anomaly,
no,
right?
She
because
is.
Not a lot of people can make almost an equal breakthrough in singles and doubles right away. So she's kind of a rare, kind of a special talent for sure.
And then women's pro dubs, Ann Bright and Bobby Oshiri ended up beating Escabel and Regina Franco Goldberg.
Nice to see her.
Yeah,
back and playing some tournaments.
Back from having her. Back from having her baby.
One,
yeah. So, but anyhow, I was just watching some of the live stream and I think Catalino or Lauren McLaughlin was just talking about how there just wasn't a whole lot of people there. So super nice venue, great Mexican joint, just not a great place to host a tournament.
So if you do go there, there's at least one good spot to eat. You heard it from Tyson.
Okay, we're gonna jump into Boiler Room here.
All right, let's do it.
This is sponsored by Selkirk TV and my man Cooper for putting together this clip. So appreciate that, man. Okay, so we got a female match going on here. Pickle Ranchers and the Chimeras. Oh, lobbing the pregnant lady, huh? Smart. I've done the exact same thing. Oh yeah, I'm a victim.
There's no friends anymore once you start keeping score. Right?
Look at that overhead, huh? Look at that overhead. Talk about some angle, baby.
Pronation.
I call that a big girl overhead. And
find that short angle.
Yeah, let's see here. Okay, Annalise serving. Oh, we got Lee. Mom versus daughter.
Drops to Lindsay.
Kind
of puts it right back in front of.
You know what? Lee. You know what I love is how relaxed is this little walking third. I mean, she almost walks through her third. Very methodical. Pops the lob.
Yeah, I don't mind the lob play. For me, I'm just not a huge fan, and obviously it still worked out, not a huge fan of doing it like your first shot, right when you get to the kitchen line. I feel like make your opponents feel a little pressure, put a couple dinks in, then maybe throw it in. Either way, worked out for me.
Yeah. Okay, looks like she's going for that left shoulder. Lenz was off her back foot, pushed him back, drive in transition. She dumps one, gets in. Like how Lee's being aggressive there, as she should, make him feel pressure, and then boom.
Yeah, Lindsay just floated that block a little higher, definitely higher than she normally would, and Lee putting it away with the short angle there.
Lee was a shining star.
Yes, she was. This was
at MLP. And any time that we run some boiler room breakdown and it's over MLP, it's usually all about the Lee show. It is.
That MLP was the Lee show. It was so entertaining to watch her.
We're just here to watch and talk about
great
how
player,
good she played.
Fun personality too.
No, for sure.
Mom on daughter here. Not very often they play against each other.
Yes. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna slow this down. Okay, put the return. Hang on real quick. Where does that return? I mean, I kid you not. What percentage of returns goes to that righty's inside foot, huh?
For sure, for sure.
Okay,
It just
so-
kind of dares the other person maybe come over a little too far. Not saying that Lee did. I like the drive choice here. Create that wall together. They can get up.
Yeah. Okay, so
Use that drive drop combo
use that
here.
drive drop combo. Looks to get in. Lee's being aggressive.
Look at this, and that's a little cobra action. That's
Cobra and try to poke it line.
yeah. I mean that's part of the Newman's grip, right?
Yeah,
Being
right.
a little bit more extreme. They'll maybe come up with those, but
Yeah, that's the old-
certainly an unconventional.
Yeah. That's
unconventional
taking
shot
a
selection.
forehand at 11 o'clock. It is. It is. Finding a forehand on that left ear, or
It looks
if there's a
funky. At times it can get the job done though.
yeah, scramble. Dump one. She's probably got one of the best dumps in transition in the game, if you know what I mean.
So Annalie and Lee are in control here, rolling. A little unlucky maybe that hits the tape. Let's see if they're able to neutralize off this one here.
Like how Linz doesn't rush though, buys herself time,
Yep.
gets in, sags back a little bit. Annalise honoring line here, that's what it looks like.
And everybody's moving the ball around nicely. We could have taken that out of the air, but no matter. She still neutralizes.
Keep her daughter honest.
Little reset.
Move it around.
Again, nobody's being isolated here. Everybody's getting some touches. We're just going with the smarter, higher percentage dink location most of the time here. Slight little pop-up by Lindsay, but they're able to get back and neutralize.
See a lot of this with the Franklin ball.
Yeah.
A lot of transition from defense to offense and offense to defense. Something I want to just touch on real quick was Lee put a bit more sting on this dink, and as you can see, it's a little deeper in the kitchen. This one right here. Okay, boom. So Lee puts a bit more stick on this dink, knifes it a bit more. Usually, as she does with that lefty slice, as she's on the right. But got a bit more on it, forces Linz to kind of pop this ball up. Annalise sits middle. Something to think about when your opponent's dinking aggressively cross court. Kyle and I were talking about this morning in mixed. When your opponent, like if Lauren's dinking aggressively cross court, I'm actually gonna slide middle and maybe look to poach or just expect that my opponent is gonna pop that ball up a little bit off of that aggressive dink. So as we see here, Lee hits that aggressive dink, pops it up, Annalise sitting
Clogging
middle.
middle, yeah.
Yep, very good. So if your opponent's dinking aggressively, usually or if your partner's dinking aggressively, usually your opponent's not going to speed up line. So you can kind of give up line, pinch more middle, and maybe expect they're going to pop the ball up.
If we just show that point finish with
Lee's
Lee's shot here. So I think this is a kind of a teachable moment at the end of the point. We'll just kind of watch this through. But when Lee finishes her last shot, she's looking to poach. I like the instinct, but when you feel your shoulder and your paddle, when you're moving laterally, when you feel it dipping and getting well below the net, you want to have that seed planted in the back of your mind to at least be willing to change your shot and maybe soften it up. So good instinct, but I think she would tell you that the final poach is probably the wrong one to continue to pull the trigger on.
Start.
Here
and
she's
she tries
going,
to over.
but it's just she's dipping down.
Right.
Very tough to stay aggressive when they do get that ball down on that very last shot.
And something we talk about is, obviously if you're going to speed up, you should look to clean up your mess, or if you're going to start, you should stay. But if it's in front of you, that logic makes sense. But if it's away from you, or if it's pulling away from you, or if you're on the stretch, it does not make sense to stay with your initial speed. Let Lindsay play a little bit, okay? Look at Annalie here. She's got the little step in, little fake. She's just double daring them to go cross court. Come on.
And what that does is it
give me the ball.
allows Lee to play mostly forehands from that side because Annalie can come right over and just take so much court. Yeah. So it enhances her partner's natural strengths.
Being aggressive here. Yeah, come on, Mom. Keep her honest, okay? Can't cover that much court. Timeout.
Mom says, I've seen that before. I know where you're vulnerable.
But talk about Annalie being aggressive with that fourth, really taking over the middle, making the court look small. And obviously they're trying to isolate Lee here, but kept her honest. And I something that we talk about during camps is, you know, if somebody's being aggressive with their 4th and their 6th and their 8th, look to be aggressive back and make them second guess being aggressive. Or if they are being aggressive, the other person can maybe like come in a bit more and then look to poach off of that, as we see Lee did that there. Okay, you can't just let them dictate and not give them pressure. If they're giving you pressure, look to apply some back. And so as Lee does here, Lee's kind of creeping in, buying herself some time. I'm going to keep you honest. You know what I mean? And that will make Anna Lee second guess coming over that far.
Yeah, no, for sure. She's going to start to take a little pace off of her shots.
Yep.
You know, try to roll it at the feet a little bit more rather than just power it through. Just, again, once in a while, being willing to show offense there changes the course of the match when you're willing to do that.
So if you're getting bullied in transition, look to bully back to a certain degree, either by poaching and coming in or just making them feel pressure, whether that's swinging or that is poaching. Number 4 here. Getting bullied in transition. It's not fun getting bullied in transition. God, I hate that.
Sounds like a future video in the works here. Getting bullied in transition. We got to make a video on that.
Drop.
Nice little touch.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I like it. Oh,
keep them honest again. Come on.
Stay away from that two-hander.
It's that same format too.
No, for sure.
Yeah, as watch that again.
It's a lot tougher. If she didn't have a two-handed backhand, that's a very tough shot. Kind of pulling that around and going back behind. But one of the advantages of the two-hander, you can use that left hand to open up a little bit of an easier angle cross court.
Right. And something to think about too here is that, you know, it seems like a good majority of their drops and of their effort or their placement in general is trying to go towards Lee's inside foot. I mean, if I'm playing Ben and Ben's playing that much court in mixed or men's, like we're going to drive line or we're going to drop line, but maybe keep them honest on the first and then get in off of that versus just try to isolate Lee, you know?
Agreed.
Oh, I want to see if Lee did her usual.
If it was legal or not.
Okay, let's check.
Walk around. Step through. She walks around. It's all good.
Oh yeah,
it's all good.
Oh, that a girl. Tiptoe around.
Tough call to make. I wouldn't want to be a referee, honestly.
I mean, talk about somebody in a bad position at all times, and I mean, true ambassadors of the sport don't get paid all that much. I mean, they're basically volunteering their time with how much effort and time they, put in.
They have to get the business from people like us when we're having a crabby day.
No, it's true. It's true.
They don't get enough credit, honestly.
They don't get enough credit at all. Number 6. All right, got that same return inside foot. Yep, like Lindsay's being look at that. Oh my gosh, what was that?
Angle block winner. You don't see that very often.
Stop it. Stop it. Looks like Lynn's maybe a little fed up here.
I like her first speed up.
Aggressive.
This one may have not fully been there, and that's pretty unconventional for Lindsay's style most of the time, too.
Called the 3 o'clock block.
It's a hard, sharp block angle winner.
Let's watch that again.
I do not have this shot in my game.
Talk about caressing the outside edge of the ball or finding that 3 o'clock placement. Oh!
It shows kind of some of the raw paddle racket ability that Lee has right there. That's a tough shot to pull off and make it look easy.
Not going to beat you with a lot of punching, but she will craft her way out of it.
She can carve with the best of them.
Okay, AJ, left hand on the left hip. Why not?
Look at that
Why
knife.
not? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, drive there.
Little reset.
Dump one.
Finally get one down. They're up.
Yeah, AJ's transition work
This
is usually
just a
pretty
knife,
dialed.
if there ever was one. Tough for Riley to even get
was
there.
a knife.
Good defense by Kyle. And then the knife got him ahead. Kyle's defense kept him ahead, and then got the pop out right away.
I think Andre was kind of second guessing driving in transition as we see here. Gets one down. Plant the left hip on, or plant the left hand on the left hip.
That gets him to neutral. This really takes him ahead.
Yates is there, dumps one, comes into close, but I just don't think he was quite ready there.
Yeah, I don't know if Andre, he probably in hindsight, after his first block, he's fallen off. It was okay, but he didn't have to rush into the kitchen line right there, especially with that ball, right, where defense is enhanced. He probably could have just filled in on his side, stayed a little bit more in transition, would have had a better chance at dealing with AJ's aggression on that last one. So.
K-Mac, what's something we always say at camps? You have more time than you...
More time than you think.
Don't need to rush in transition. Even at the highest level, that idea still kind of creeps up that you have to rush in transition. Right. Good defense is good offense. You don't have to rush in transition. Take your sweet time, get one down, force them to have to deal with the ball in red, and then get your ass in.
That's why it's so important to just work on your game in transition, because when you can be more confident there, it slows the game down. Your decision making is so much better.
Takes the monkey off your back on your third.
It can enhance so many other areas of your game, just building confidence in the transition zone.
True. No, that's a very good point. Takes pressure off your. I mean, tell the viewers here what you used to do with your third. You didn't trust your transition.
Yeah, when I moved here to Spokane, I would
linear.
I always had a pretty good drop, right? So I would try to go from pretty good to perfect, and then run in and crash immediately off my ball. And so, I would end up missing a lot more thirds because I'm trying to almost win the point or set up a winning shot on the third every time, and just getting a little bit of confidence in transition. I stopped missing nearly as many thirds. I could add more shape, and I just eventually get there. And then even my game now is I'm realizing I still can take even more time and look for moments to find offense in transition at the right time. So developing a well-rounded, good balance of both defense and calculated offense, calculated swings in transition. I think, again, it enhances everything else that you probably do well.
Sends a message too, and puts a lot of pressure on your opponents if you're taking your sweet time and you have that like methodical look as you're in transition. Know that you can defend when you have time. Take your sweet time. You have more time than you think. K-Mac, any last thoughts here or notes for the viewers?
I'm just going to wish you good luck at the U.S. Open, man. I know you're taking off in a little bit here. Got quite a few events, and you've traditionally... It's been like a home away from home, so I'm going to be full geek mode at home, watching the live stream and kick some butt, man. Rooting for you.
Cool. Appreciate all you guys out there. Tune in with us. Episode 37, episode 36 will be blasted out here very soon. Do know that we're going to have a new setup for episode 37. We will not have this $10 table anymore.
Sorry, Costco.
We've been getting a lot of feedback, a lot of negative feedback off of this table.
What are these trolls doing? They don't like the table? Come on.
Who's Neil? Anyhow, my name is Tyson McGuffin. This is the McGuffin Show. Love you guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, turn those notifications on, and we'll see you in episode 37.
See you guys.
Who's Neil?